Hi everybody! Time for another craft. This one is really fun. We are making a woven tree. Okay, so it's going to take some weaving skills like we used when we made those baskets. Okay, but it turns into a really pretty wintertime decoration. Okay, so but you got to think because it needs some coordination. So what you're going to need is a green piece of paper and a white piece of paper, some scissors, and as many green markers and pencils and crayons as you can come up with. Share between you guys. What we're going to want to do is make kind of a crazy green melange, mix of all different kinds of greens. So this is what I'm going to do. I am going to just go crazy with the green. You want it to look as interesting as possible. You can do swirls, you can do stripes, you can do polka dots, you can do anything you want. But you want to fill up the page with as much green as you can in weird manners. Don't go crazy and color the table, please. But it's a good way to just get all your testing stress out. And art is a great way to just get your feelings out, whether it's happiness or upsetness or sadness. Art is a wonderful way of getting your feelings out. And it always, whether I'm happy or sad or angry or anything, making stuff always makes me feel better. I love doing stuff like this, and I hope you do too. You can even come up with your own ideas. This kind of weaving can be done with all sorts of shapes, hearts and stars and trees and anything. And so you're going to take two different kinds of paper or two different colors and weave them together for a really cool look. All right. I have my crazy green paper. So that's step one. Step two, we need our green piece of paper. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold this lengthwise, so the tall ends like this. And we're going to very carefully cut, you can even draw a line if you want, from the middle fold to the end. Can be either way, but we want sort of a guideline. Again, does not have to be absolutely perfect. Okay, but we want to make a triangle. So we're going to make a line on our rectangle that goes from one corner to the diagonal corner. We're going to end up with two extra pieces that we don't need, and a long, tall triangle like this. Okay? So the next part is kind of confusing, so everybody be careful. Now we're going to actually fold this over again. Okay? So it kind of looks like this. And this is a little bit tricky, so it's okay if you make a mistake and need to tape things together. Because what we want to do is we're going to make lines. You can see in the final product there are these these little rectangles. You can see it even better on the opposite side where the paper is still white, that there's all these lines. And so we're going to make these lines that go up and down. So first, I'm going to go a little bit to one, sorry, be good if you could see what I was doing. We're going to go a little bit to one side of that middle crease, and we're going to cut down, and we're going to be real careful not to cut all the way down this part. So cut, 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 and then stop. Make sure you don't go all the way down. And then we're going to move over about, a finger's width. So my fingers are big, but about a centimeter, I would say. You don't have to be exact. And again, cut down, but don't go all the way through. And then another centimeter, cut down, cut down. The closer these are together, the more weaves you're going to have to make. So again, a little bit, because then it go down, 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 but do not cut all the way through. And then a finger's width. Again, does not have to be perfect, but we are going to want an odd number of these, okay? So you're going to want to make sure we have an odd number. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We are good. But we're not done yet. We're going to open it up. And now we actually have to extend these down. So you want to go all the way down and leave a little bit of room, about a finger's width at the bottom. So go down, 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 down. And this one is going to be tough. We got to go way down. And then same thing here. Same thing here. And then I'm actually going to add a couple more. So I'm going to carefully add another line at the bottom. You do not have to do this. It's totally up to you. All right. So we have this thing like, woo, looks like that. Okay. So now we're going to take our crazy piece of paper, okay, and I'm going to do a couple different things. First, I'm going to cut one strip this way. Don't want them too wide. And then we're going to just keep on going, cut strips. You want them to be about the same width, not too wide, not too narrow. But this is a very forgiving project, as long as you have an odd number of slits in your tree. It works. If you have a better way, you can try cutting multiples of these at a time, but I'm fine just cutting one at a time. Oh, what's that noise? Strange things that happen during filming. I will never be huge on YouTube because I don't have a good filming setup, but alright, more. Hurry up, Christine. Actually, you guys, take your time. It's good to do a good job with this. But doesn't have to be perfect. As a parent, I can tell you I enjoy all the things that my kids bring home that they've done in school, all their art projects. Sometimes when things aren't perfect, it makes it even cooler. So I just like to see what my kids are doing. All right, so we have a bunch of long strips. Some of these we're going to actually have to cut in half eventually, but let's start at the bottom. And you're going to take one strip and you're going to go to the bottom and you're going to sort of pull it apart a little bit so you can go, if you remember this with the weaving of the baskets, you go under one and then you go over the next and then under, over, under, over, under, over. You can slide this out and that's what it looks like. Okay if it takes a few tries. Okay, but you definitely want to make sure that you have an odd number of strips, otherwise this isn't really going to work. If you have to make another one or ignore one of the slats in order to make it an odd number, that's fine. So now we're going to actually do the opposite. So we started over here. Now we're going to go under the edge. So see how this is like over, this is under, this is under, this is over. And so we're going to go over, under, over, under, over, under, the opposite of what we were just doing. And then that sticks out. And now you've got this cool look. and then just keep on going. Okay, so this one we're going to start over. See if we can get it to fit. You may have to like cut this a little differently in order to get it to fit. You don't have to though. It's your tree. So I'm just going to keep on going over, under, over, under. And it is a little confusing when you start doing any kind of weaving. So maybe you have a friend who sort of gets it a little bit better. It's a good time to ask for help. Maybe you think this is really easy, but you see somebody having some problems. Maybe you can help them, you know, because it's kind of tricky. Okay, so you can see these sort of lock in place just like our baskets did, and you get to see that cool pattern. So just keep on going. Now see, I've run out of this one, so I'm going to act like this next one is there. So this I'm actually going to, what I want to do is, if I start with this one, I want to do the opposite of this. So this one is over, so I'm going under. You want to be the opposite of the one next to it, of the strip next to it. And these all have names. There's warp and weft for which direction is which, but I don't want to confuse you. But weaving is a very old skill. It's really useful actually. And it used to be people wove clothes by hand, just like we saw the Native American people like the Ohlone weave baskets. People used to weave clothes and carpets and all kinds of things on looms. Okay, so see, we don't, as it gets higher up, we don't need all this. I'm actually going to cut some of this off just to make it a little easier. Okay, but as we go up, you want to make sure that whatever's going on in the next strip, you want to do the opposite. So this is over, so we want to do under, over, under, over, under, over. Oh, there wasn't enough room, darn it. Okay, over, under. Ah! Trickier than you think. So I've been weaving stuff for a long time and I still make mistakes every single time. That's okay. Next. And just keep on going all the way to the top. There we go. So now we have our whole tree. And wait a minute. Now what do we do? This kind of doesn't really look like a tree. So now we're going to take some scissors and we're going to cut these so it kind of looks like triangles on the end. Okay, so pretty close. So it sticks out a little bit like how we tend to draw fir trees or Christmas trees with a bunch of triangles. Ah, it's moving. If it's moving too much, you can actually use like a little roll of tape or glue to hold it down if you're worried. Like I'm worried that's gonna fall out. So I'm actually gonna take my trusty glue stick and glue it down a little bit on the top, just to make sure that I don't lose that one, because it's only being held in place by one thing. So cut, 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 and glue. You can glue them all, but usually with weaving, you don't really need to glue it. But that top one, you may want to try to glue. And you can see each one I cut is like a little bit inset, so it gives this kind of jagged edge. Go back to the bottom because it's a little easier there to start. Eek. Cool. Now we have a woven tree. Okay, and you can just use it like this. You can lean it up on something, anything you want. One thing I really, really like when these come home is for you to put your name on it. So I'm going to put my name. And then I'm going to put the year I did it, because that's kind of cool. Sound like a real artist. So that's my name and the year, 2021. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a good day.